Hey guys, welcome to my slightly messy desk setup today, but I've just been working on some Balisong stuff, getting some other stuff done. Yeah, but today we're going to be doing this rep. I'm going to be showing you guys how to customize your rep and get yourself a nice little cracker tune, which is normally like this, right? Usually I can shake it as much as I want, but I think one thing is slightly loose on here, which is making that handle ever so slightly tap. Typically I have like a very nice tune on here, but I think it's just one of these spaces that's not lining up fully. So yes, we have the 600 grit sandpaper in case we need it. I'm hoping I don't, but yeah, this is the setup for today, and I guess let's get right into it, right? So it's going to be starting off. I've not even shown you what we're putting on here. We are swapping off these scales here for these lovely clear ones. So hopefully our rep will look super cool and super unique after. We still have the Armed Shark one here, this Armed Shark hourglass blade. And yeah, so I guess we carry on. One, you're going to want to get your T10 driver. Wrong way. I like to have it locked, but it likes to come undone. So, first things first, yeah, taking out our screws. Now, for me, I like to keep my screws kind of directional, so you'll actually see kind of how I do my Balisonguses. And we're just going to start off by taking off all of the screws. Now, I like to keep everything from its own side in its own side. Oh my goodness. There we go. Perhaps I'll just loosen these first, and then take them off when it's flat. Yeah, like some of these screws are in really tight. But yeah, I'll be taking off these handle screws first, and you can see I don't have particularly special T8 tooling. I have nice like T10 tooling, but like my T8 screws aren't the best. And I believe these are the stock Armed Shark screws actually. I don't think I have spare T8s like this. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know what size Armed Shark uses either. But yeah, we're just going to be taking out all of the... Goodness me! All of the screws here. Now, actually, this is all you really need to take out, I think. Just these kind of front screws here. So actually, I'm going to take these screws and line them up lower down on my little desk here. And we're going to make sure that that's like this. You can see that's already one scale has come off. And here you can see my anno work. And so perhaps actually leave your main pivot screw in. That's actually what I'm going to do now. I'm actually going to put this back in. And this back in. Now, by no means am I saying put these in tightly. No, they just need to be on. And the other thing you need to do is take off these rear Zempin screws. Right, which I'm going to put the rearward ones at the bottom here. And then now we just need to be quite careful. So I think probably the wisest thing to do here is going to be now take off these pivot screws. Now I've not done this before, I've never changed scales on this guy, but obviously I've taken it entirely apart to have the scales out. Obviously I've did the anno work on it, but yeah, I'm going to keep these scales on kind of the top is here. And then I want to be careful while I take out these sex bolts here. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4. Oh, that doesn't matter too much, thankfully. So, yeah. But yeah, here we have now a fully disassembled rep, other than these main pivots here, which also need to come out, don't they? Yes, so we're going to kind of do one at a time. No, we'll just send both of these out. I'm going to fully disassemble this rep, but we need to be careful here. So here we have our top liners, and I'm hoping to get these with the washers, which we have, which is perfect. So I'm going to set this down like this, and I'm going to try and take this Zen bit here as well. I'm going to have it like so, and lay it like that. It's important to keep this orientation, guys, if you want to retain a good tune. Here is our blade, which I'm going to just take and put it here on this sandpaper in the right orientation and whatnot. Here are my carbon fiber bits and my channel spacers, and here are my rearward scales and liners. So there we go, that is our rep fully disassembled, and it's kind of surreal to see it. As I've not seen it like this since I did the anno work, but yeah, here we have now a bit of a cleanup to do. So the first thing we're going to do is essentially just start putting it back together immediately. So we're going to pick 2 of our scales here, because these are the first parts of the knife that you do. And you know, probably should have done this beforehand, but you'll want to examine your scales, just see what is what. You know, are there any things that you'd want there to be on one side as opposed to the other? And I think there are left ones and there are right ones, right? So there's 2 left ones and 2 right ones. So we're going to take these 2, and these are going to be our back laying flat ones. So I'm just going to put them here for a second. I'm going to grab some isopropyl alcohol or surgical spirit if you're in the UK. Let's place it down, and I'm just going to clean these up here on the inside. These don't have to be like spotlessly clean, but obviously it's always good to have just clean bits and bobs. So let's keep our bits and bobs relatively clean. So while we have this, I'm not going to clean the screws because, oh, actually I might want to a little bit, just with that same thing, just on the outside. Get rid of any oil that's on there. This is not like a deep clean, but yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm now going to take off this scale, and I'm going to replace this one here. I'm going to do the same here as well. Grab my pivot and pop it through the back. Take this guy away, like so. Now another thing I'm going to want to now do is actually place in the sex bolts here, which don't look like they want to go into those ones, so perhaps they'll want to go into the ones here. Or I've just put it in, you know, badly. Which also very much could be the case, but no, these seem like the top ones, okay? So never mind. So here, this goes in, this goes in. What about these ones? Have I taken the 2 back ones by accident? Oh no, these ones also go in. Oh, okay, but this bottom one doesn't want to go in. So we'll kind of just leave it like that. We know that this one is there. So there we go. As you can see, it doesn't always go to plan, but that's why you want to test fit things. But yeah, we're just going to use this same isopropyl alcohol, and now my phone is hurting my head. Don't remember how they were set up. I believe it like this. And we have Bosch, Bosch, and Bosch. Right, so, yeah, you want to be careful putting these down. Obviously, they aren't attached by anything, so the smoother you can get that down, the easier your life will be. And a similar thing here. And a wash. There we go. And our big pivot. There we go. Look at that. It's already starting to look like a rep. I believe the next thing is liners here. So we are going to take our liners, and I do not know if I had them. No, I don't have them really greased. So I'm going to take off this washer, keeping it in its same orientation, which I believe was like this. I'm really hoping it was, because now it's flipped over and I don't know, and yeah. But yeah, just going to be cleaning up these liners as well. Again, just with that same slightly damp, you know, you can use a tissue, you can use whatever. Okay, the washer is back. Yeah, it literally just went on a bit of a walk. Again, you just want to get rid of some of the dirt on it and place it on like so. Remember, you can always top up your cloth if need be with the isopropyl. So again, keep this in its orientation. Make sure you want to clean that up, it's all gunky and whatnot. And also, you might want a cotton swab just to kind of go on the insides of things. I know I didn't do it on the other handle, but it's not necessary, but it can be nice. So this will nicely go in now. I'll just take this out and this out. I'm just going to go like this. There we go. Look at that, easy peasy. Bosh and bosh. Yeah, oh, but we lost a pin, so we'll do that, which is great. So here we are again, and we just want to place this washer on top, give it a bit of a wipe down, and just place it, like so. Now you should really replace your washers, but I don't have good condition replacement rep washers, so we're just not going to. Right, the next step is probably Zen pin, the rear Zen pin, which is going to be a bit of a tricky one to do with these bits here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to throw on this pivot here, just by hand, literally just so that it's on, so that this kind of stays somewhat together. And we're going to turn these over. We'll do it one at a time, actually. So first you want to grab this guy here, which will end up sitting like this. Oh, okay. Yes, and that's how the Zen pin will fit in. And I want to grab this screw, right? That's the rear one. And so I'm just going to give this Zen pin bit a little bit of a clean as well. Make sure you keep track of these orientations if you want your tune to remain as close to what you had it at before as possible. And then this guy will nicely slip into here. Screwdriver. And you don't want to tighten it all the way. I would say just get it so that it's seated in, right? It's very much loose, but it is seated in. Yeah, it's seated in there, which is all you need it to be. You do not need it super tight right now. Just need it seated in. So in the Zen pin goes, in our screw goes. That's maybe even a bit too seated in. I want it to be slightly wobbly so that we can really adjust the tightening of it at a later point. Now, put those washers back. Obviously, having this screw in just keeps the washers in orientation. You could also just take them out, but I didn't really want to do that. So I just put the screws in, which is like also perfectly fine. So here we now have our this guy here. Now I'm actually thinking I might sand the edge of these guys because but this has a cup for the Zen pin, doesn't it? Okay, never mind. I was thinking I was going to sand this guy because I don't like how it fits in here, but yeah, this could be a little smaller and it could fit a little better, but it is what it is. Yeah, but yeah, that's that, you know, really nice carbon there. And I think the next thing that goes in is the blade, which I'm just going to give a nice little wipe up because this thing is really just gross. Really deserves a wipe up. You could take the bushings out and give it a proper clean. I'm not going to do that, simply I just don't want to. But yeah, you want to put the blade on nicely, carefully. Get those bushings on. Like so. And there we go. We're starting to see this come, you know, back together. And also, actually, I'll see the carbon fibre. No, I won't, because I'll have the scales on. Never mind. Yeah, but the next step is obviously the other washers, which are on these scales. So here I'm going to take them and I'm actually just going to wipe them. And on they go. Same thing with the other, sorry, liner, not the scale. Take this washer, give it a nice wipe, and on it goes. And then now we have the next bit, which was just going to be the next liners. And I mean, essentially, you know, you've taken apart your rep. It's just the complete opposite of what we did to get to where we were. So on goes the liner here, and you can see it's starting to take its final form. Yeah, want to get a nice wipe down on these things. They tend to get a bit yucky after use. You know, a bit gunked up and all that. And so now the final step, of course, which we've already cleaned these guys, so make sure you do clean them, is just to put in the main last screws. Which, you know, everything might need a little bit of finagling and grabbing around. So we're going to just start with the bite handle here. I recommend you do start with the bite handle typically when doing work like this. Simply because, and now I'm not tightening this guy. If you look here, I'm literally just doing it to, it's held in place now. And I'm going to do a similar thing for these screws here as well. I just want them to start threading in, which I don't think this one is. Well, okay, Zempian I'll leave till last then, and we'll sort that in a second. But yeah, at least these bottom screws, we want them starting to thread in. Now, I do also have some like glow-in-the-dark little bits, which I'm tempted to add on. I may do that at a later date when refining the tune. But so far, this rep is actually looking super duper cool. In a way that I definitely wasn't expecting. Definitely wasn't expecting. I didn't think it would look this cool. I was honestly a bit worried it would look a bit tacky with my tune, with my rainbow rep tune, with my build, kind of with my liners. There we go, and just get this nice and like 2 fingers, it's no longer turning anymore, kind of tight. Really need to get like replacement hardware for this guy. It would be so nice. Or just a new rep in general. I wouldn't mind one. It would be nice to have. But yeah, basically now you have your rep built back together, and you can go through the process of adjusting each individual screw's tightness and going over stuff like that for the tune, and it's a right nightmare really. But here I'm now going to get this guy at least threading. I'm going to do the same for this guy here as well. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but there we go. Now they are threading, right? So these guys are threading. I don't want them to be fully in, because these are all my adjustable screws and these are my non-adjustable ones, right? So the first thing I want to do is get obviously everything lined up, right? Make sure that this up here is nicely aligned. And I'm literally just going to start by going with, really you should go top to bottom. So actually, you know what, let's take my own advice and let's go top to bottom. So we're going to start off obviously with our pivot screw, right, with this, which apply moderate pressure, make sure it actually rotates. So it seems to not be wanting to do that a ton, but yeah, we can adjust that in a little bit. Come here to the back side and nicely tighten this here whilst applying some pressure to my channel spacer so that it sits nice and flush. Here's where you're going to be fiddling with everything, making sure it's nicely lined up. Now, there is like a fluff here, or is it a scratch? I don't know, but it is going to annoy me, so I'm going to have to take, probably these screws out. To get this fluff. And you'll just see, is it a fluff or is it a scratch? Okay, it is a scratch. which is no problem. Because at least I know it's then not something that's... Oh, why is this magnetized? Oh my goodness. Maybe magnetized bits aren't what you want, even though I don't have any, so I don't know how. That's probably just from this this guy here. Anyways, onwards. You're going to see the real faffings of a rep, and I think this thing is starting to look really cool. I really like my anno work that I've got on here. I wanted that kind of matte stonewash finish, but with the colours, which I managed to obviously pull off. And before you could only see it nicely on the ends, but I like that you can kind of see it all the way through now, which, you know, it's unique to my build, right? So I'm actually going to come here, and I'm going to tighten this bottom guy so that we don't get that wobbling and wibbling and wobbling around. The next step is to come here and to make sure that this is all nicely... Yeah, I think I might... I don't know. Come up here, though, and give it a nice tighten. Anyways, yeah, we'll sort that out in a second. And then come to this rearwards one. Make sure it's nicely tightened. Now these, I believe, are thicker than the original ones that came off it. Yes, they are. Hence why they kind of sit a bit deeper in. And then we're going to go with our top screw, tighten that down, making sure everything's nicely seated, and then this middle one. And you can see here, I've got a bit of tap, which we can probably tighten out. You know, make sure you're trying to get as many sides as you can, but then you can see here we're not getting free swing. So I'm going to loosen the back one slightly and tighten the... No, okay. I don't even know at this point. Now it's just it's a game. It's a rep game really now, of tighten your screws to however much you dare without cracking the G10 and or cracking the scales that you just put on now, and get everything, you know, lined up here, for example, and like here, for example, at the end. I want that lined up so I can then come in here, apply some pressure, and tighten this up. Now that's actually quite an important bit here. If you do have channel spacers, you want to loosen the Zen pin, you know, get this in as far as you can and then tighten it for two things. One, the best sound, and two, the best channel gap. So I'm actually going to do that here as well, because it's definitely not in enough here. Right, and I have the back one typically fully tightened, and then I adjust the front ones. And you can see, you know, it's starting to come back to itself. And, you know, we can just tighten all these screws now, slowly but surely. It would be so nice if I had a rep that's like just like easy, where you just tighten everything all the way, and then you get that. And to be fair, that side taps, and that side taps. But oh, it's lighter. It's already lighter. So we're just going to loosen the pivot screws here just a little bit, just so you can see what at least it's going to be like. And here is the rep, and it already feels very strange, very different. But it does sound pretty cool. And it looks even cooler. This with a live blade, oh, this would be so cool. Anyways, yeah, that's essentially how you go around modifying your rep and making it personalized to you. Hang on. This doesn't sit correctly, does it? I feel like it's like lopsided or something. I don't know, but it looks awesome. Yeah, it kind of looks like the Medusa clone. What? But it's a very cool one. Surprisingly, not as slippery as I was expecting it to be with this plastic. Yeah, but actually really, really cool. And always doing something to your rep makes you just want to flip it a bit more. And yeah, doesn't sound as cool as the G10 in my opinion. Okay, it sounds cooler in motion like this, like doing the fan. But I do think that the ice pick sounds a bit nicer with the with the G10, but that could just be a tight tune. I mean, you can see the tune here. It's not even bad. It's just that it taps, and I just don't like the tap. So I'm going to work our way on getting all these at the right tightness relative to each other, so they have maximum tightness, minimum bind. And I may have to push these in a bit more and do some sanding here. So I'll be working on that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe if you're looking forward to seeing this, my rep build, come to a further point in its life cycle. Because I'm super excited. It feels really cool in the hand now. It may be thicker, but it's also more round. So it's actually comfier. And weirdly, feels smaller, which is so strange. But yeah, anyways, that's this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment what you'd like to see, or if you want me to do something. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.